If you take out a loan, you pay it back. If you commit a violent crime, you go to jail. And if God made you a man, you play sports against men.
Tim Scott, a senator from South Carolina and a guy who loves rich people, is running for president. But like everyone else in the crowded GOP field, he is polling far below Donald Trump. So what's his game plan? Who is Tim Scott? Scott grew up poor in North Charleston, South Carolina. On breaks from his job at the local movie theater, he frequented a nearby Chick-fil-A where he met the location's owner, who would profoundly shape his journey. He taught him valuable life lessons that Scott attributes his success to, like think your way out of poverty. Following his graduation from Charleston Southern University in 1988, he embarked on his political journey by securing his first electoral victory in 1995 as a member of the Charleston City Council. Climbing the political ladder, Scott soon became the first black senator from the South since the Reconstruction era, and currently the only black Republican senator. He's said the thing he is most proud of accomplishing during his time in government is helping pass the 2017 Trump tax cuts.
Perhaps the most important thing I've done in public office since 2010 is I was one of the 3 main authors of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
Obviously, these tax cuts have overwhelmingly benefited the biggest corporations and wealthiest people in the US. Rich folks like Democrat Mike Bloomberg saved around $68 million, while those in the middle and working classes largely saw little to no benefit.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is a Christmas present for hardworking families.
Scott and Democratic Senator Cory Booker also added a provision to the tax bill for opportunity zones, aimed at revitalizing low-income areas by attracting corporations. Yet, as noted by The Intercept, these zones often accelerate gentrification and displace marginalized communities. Investigations by the New York Times and ProPublica found the program favored affluent zones with funds largely going to luxury projects, including high-end residences and spas for pets. Booker, Scott, and 2 others have since introduced a bill aimed at reforming opportunity zones. During Trump's reign, Scott joined 21 Republicans in writing a letter to the then president, urging him to pull the US out of the Paris Climate Agreement, the international treaty working to combat the climate crisis. Trump heeded their call, and it was revealed that Scott had amassed more than $500,000 from the fossil fuel industry. As of now, he's accepted more than $870,000 from the oil and gas industry, as well as more than $150,000 from Goldman Sachs and $90,000 from Koch Industries. Scott's cushy relationship with corporations has rendered him extremely anti-union. Time and time again, he's introduced legislation that would make it more difficult for workers to organize and fight for better wages. Scott said his legislation puts workers back in the driver's seat and gives them the power to choose how to make a living. But he failed to mention that workers already have a choice, as federal law makes it illegal to force someone to join a union. He also contributed to a national right to work proposal, an idea which Martin Luther King Jr. described as a false slogan, which robs people of their civil rights and job rights. Its purpose is to destroy labor unions and the freedom of collective bargaining. When these right-to-work laws are passed, workers see a 3% loss in pay, while corporations gain more power and profits. With Scott in the Oval Office, CEOs everywhere would no doubt breathe a sigh of relief. But he probably won't have the chance to reside there. Most polls have him anywhere between 5th and 8th place. However, there's still enough time for Scott to shake things up. And it's safe to say if he continues lobbying on behalf of the rich, his campaign probably won't run out of money anytime soon.